What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're gonna make a ton of progress on the all-wheel drive Civic Type R engine bay. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, we nearly got this tub all complete. I need to replicate that on that side, but before we move to this side, there's a little bit of work I need to do up in here. I'm trying to figure out what to do there. I might just pull all that seam sealer off and plate that in. Not exactly sure yet, but I will come up with a good solution. So we need to do that. And then my gap was a little bit off right there. I need to go ahead, weld that in, grind that smooth, just get this entire driver's side finished up as far as the tub goes, and then replicate it on this side. The goal for the day is to get all the metal work done. So we still have a couple holes to fill there, a lot of holes to fill on that side, and then on the firewall, there's some holes to fill, and of course, that needs to be filled in as well. Let's knock this out. The driver's side is 100% complete, all buttoned up. Nice grind there, the whole edge ground down. I ended up filling this whole back section with weld, grinding that. That's ground, all the seam sealers pulled out up to here. I think that's how I'm gonna leave it. I could re-seam seal it, but I think it honestly looks better and cleaner without the seam sealer. The back side, I still need to do some work back there. I'm not too worried about that. All that is pretty much gonna be hidden anyway. I might build a little plate to extend from here, maybe back to the seam sealer. I don't know, do something there. Bottom side is stitched in. Once again, that's not really gonna be seen. I'm gonna move on to building the passenger side. Now the tricky part with the passenger side is, of course, the motor mount is right in the way. So my plan is to build this exact same thing on this side, get it all said and done. And then at the very end of it, I'm going to notch like right here for the motor mount. I think it's gonna be the best option. Instead of trying to build around the motor mount, I'd rather have them look nice and even. Good thing is there's nothing to pull off on this side. No spot welds to remove. That bracket will unbolt, and I'm gonna pull this off. That bracket is not needed, so I'll unbolt that. And then of course, the most important thing is making sure they are the same exact shape, same exact radius, same exact width, same exact everything from driver to passenger side.
Nice. Oh, that's so sick. Ah, fucking baller as fuck, dude. Who needs good welds when he can grind like a fucking...
All right, we got it fully fabricated and welded in. I do still need to go through and grind everything. So here's how it looks unground, and here's how it looks ground. All the edges look so much better than if we were just to leave like that. This is a necessity to grind those. Not very much a necessity, but it definitely looks a lot better. Before I go do that, I'm going to deal with the motor mount situation. So let's get it set up in there, figure out what we need to do. It should be a pretty easy solution, but I guess we'll see. For starters, I can trim this motor mount. It doesn't need to come nearly that far back, which is the main thing that's hitting. And then of course, right here, we can notch, pull it in a little bit, weld in a little box, and should be good to go. Here's what I ended up with for the motor mount. I cut a nice perfect square. It's actually pretty cool looking because it's kind of like halfway hidden. Bolt can still go in and out. We can still get both of the bottom bolts in. So now I'm just gonna build a little box that's gonna be welded onto the backside, and then we can go through and grind all these freaking welds. I like how this turned out though. It's gonna look really nice all said and done. I got the box built, started welding it up to make sure it's completely sealed, and I ran out of gas. So for now, I'm gonna go ahead and grind the welds. Okay, probably 4 hours of straight grind, 5 hours of straight grinding later, we are all finished up. I need gas to finish up the little cutout for the motor mount, and then we can move on to doing like just filling random holes. Hard shit's done, man, oh man. I'm wearing a hoodie today. It's probably 100 degrees in the shop, but yesterday I got destroyed with birds just digging into my skin. Hoodie, mask, glasses, hot, makes it extremely fun. Let's take a quick look at how she's looking. Here's the current look. A little box cut out needs to be filled in. Here's it all up here. Of course, it does need to be body worked a little bit. Here's this side. This guy is gonna sit in there, something like that. Like so. You guys get the point. All right, my friends, it is the next day. Been trucking away, and I got this box all finished up. Here is what we got to do. I need to weld this frame rail because there's a little lip on there. I need to weld that closed, and then this box is going to be welded in, this edge being flush with that. And I have seen the comments. I know I should have picked this up sooner, but you live and you learn. Weld through primer. So I appreciate you guys letting me know. I know I should have used it, but from here on out, we will be using it on the areas that we will not be able to access after this thing is all welded up. Alrighty, clearance for the motor mount is all finished up. That's where she's gonna sit. I like it a lot. Pretty nice and clean. I can easily still get all the bolts in, which is nice. From here, I'm gonna start knocking out holes on the frame rail that we don't need. Both sides of the frame rails, a lot of those holes we don't need. There's a couple holes up there. There's some holes on the firewall I'm gonna patch up. The main one being that guy there, but let's start with the frame rails first. This little guy right here, this thing is the best for paint removal. So the small ones I can easily weld up. These bigger ones like this, I'm going to make a cutout out of some steel, weld it on, grind it flat. All right, I'm gonna call it a day for metal work on the passenger side. So this is how it's all finished up. I am gonna need a little bit more filler in here than I would like. If I had to do it again, I would build this whole thing out of one piece. You guys saw I added this back section in later, but the more I grind, the more I burn through, and it's only 20 gauge. So if I had to do it again, I would actually use like a 16, probably a 16 gauge, and I'd build this whole side out of one piece. And if I had to do it again as well, I would just properly weld this whole thing in and not grind it smooth. That is what's taking the longest. I'm on day 3 now, but I think at the end of the day, it's gonna turn out very, very nice, and I'm freaking excited for it. I did go ahead and completely weld in this bottom and the back section. Now that that's done, I'm going to tackle this little firewall section. I'm not sure how many of these holes I'm gonna fill. I'll probably leave all the bigger ones if I'm being honest. I'm not sure. Just we'll get to work and see what we come up with. All of the holes I wanted to fill are filled. Now let's go ahead and build a little plate for that guy there. All right, that's all complete. A little bit of filler on that and we should be good. Next up, and lastly of metal work, let's knock all this out. All right, my friends, all that is left, which of course I'm not gonna get done today, is a little bit of filler work, just a nice skim coat on the metal work that we did. Sand that off, prime it, sand, paint, build motor, put motor in car, build trans, put trans in car, drive it, probably break something, fix it, and then we're done with this car in 100 more episodes. I'm kidding. But we're almost done with the bay. I'm glad all the metal work is done. That was a massive project, but it looks really, really good. And it's gonna look even better as soon as you get some of those scratches and little defects filled in with filler, which I think is called all metal is what I'm supposed to use. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section below. Pretty sure it's called all metal and it's made for stuff like this. Hope you enjoyed, my friends. Peace out, and I'll see you boys in the next episode. Goodbye.